Welcome to my kitchen. Like many of you, I enjoy thinking about food, and my kitchen is both a play space for my hobby as well as a hotbed of revolution. But we're going to talk about that in just a minute. On a more serious note, you may have read in the news about the 5 million chickens in Iowa that one producer was ordered to euthanize due to the threat of an avian flu outbreak. This was just recently. I'm not sure how that affects you, but to think about 5 million chickens living on one farm, I'm not even sure how that's possible. From public food safety concerns to this wastefulness, I'm not sure how different it was for my great-grandparents when it came to feeding their kids. Living a hardscrabble existence in rural Kentucky, my great-grandparents may have had a hard time feeding their families. Food may have been scarce. But was it ever scary? We love food. We love food. We love to think about food, don't we? From all those groovy cooking shows to glossy magazines, food blogs, Pinterest, and I bet if I looked at each and every one of your phones, you've probably snapped some photos of things you've eaten over the past week. It's so exciting to think about a food culture. It's so alive. But right now, I'm going to ask you to think about food in a little bit of a different way, through a different lens. That will give you more enjoyment, better health, and will have multiple benefits for you, your family, and the planet. We're going to start with these 3 questions. Where does my food come from? Who grew it or produced it? How was it grown or made? The answers to these questions are often hard to come by, and sometimes the answers are shocking to me and should concern you too. After all, how did we allow 5 million chickens to live on one farm? They were living under such circumstances that they all had to be destroyed to avoid an avian flu pandemic. It's unbelievable. Over the past 100 years, we have demanded the food version of the American dream. We have demanded cheap and convenient food so that we could eat meat every night and strawberries in January. Agronomic efficiency was driven by the necessity to constantly lower production costs so that then those savings could be passed on to us, the consumer, right? I mean, it makes sense. We all want cheap food. But at what cost? Public safety, taste, environmental impacts, animal welfare are not the concerns of our food system. Productivity and profits are. What are we going to do about this? Did you know that Americans spend less on food proportional to our income than any other nation in the world? We've won the cheap food game. But I'd like to tell you that it's come at a tremendous cost to each and every one of us. But there is hope. This is a beautiful picture of an aquaponics field in a vertical farm that I've seen. It's amazing. So we're building a new food system. The hope comes with each and every one of you as you learn and embrace this new food system. I'm not the only one asking these questions about our food system. We're building a good food movement. It's a young movement, and we need your help. This movement is driven by farmers, chefs, cookbook authors, Pinterest people, home cooks just like you, as well as business leaders and innovative thinkers, and people who have deep respect for the foodways of our ancestors. We have solutions available to us, and food co-ops is just one of them. Food co-ops, if you've ever been to one, you may have been to one and you actually didn't even know you were visiting one. They're just really great grocery stores. I visited one when I was traveling in Traverse City, Michigan about 10 years ago. So I walk into this grocery store, and I have no idea it's a food co-op, but I'm just taken aback by all the pictures. They actually have posters as you walk in to the produce section of all the area farmers, like the farmers are local rock stars. It just amazed me. As I looked through the aisle after aisle of local produce and local products, I really wanted to know more about what was happening in the northern part of Michigan, what was happening in their agricultural scene. I felt really connected to their food system. So food co-ops, not just food co-ops, but housing, utility, and other cooperatives generally run on the same 7 cooperative principles that you'll see here. In 2012, the United Nations declared it the International Year of Cooperatives. So this business model, this movement, is actually gaining new recognition. 2012 also happened to be the year that I, along with a group of my neighbors, decided to start a food co-op in our neighborhood. Here we are. This is the Sugar Beet Food Co-op, started by a bunch of families in my community. We are not just building a grocery store. This is a full-service community neighborhood grocery store that's owned by over 1,000 families in our neighborhood. We're not just building a grocery store, but we're building a business that will be a leader in sustainability. This is a democracy that engages stakeholders. This is a hub of skill sharing and good learning about food. This is an employer that pays living wages and benefits. More importantly, this is a beacon for the good food movement. Why? Why would a neighborhood, why would a community rally around a neighborhood food co-op like this and invest so much time and money and effort? We get back to these 3 important questions. Where does my food come from? Who grew it or produced it? How was it grown or made? The food movement is a young movement, and we need your help. This is the dawn of a revolution that starts with food. Every time I buy food from the farmer's market or I get to know a new farmer, I feel like I am sharing something with my family. I'm not just sharing dinner, but something alive with life and beauty and love. Food is both personal and it's communal. I can't imagine anything more communal. It's actually very social, isn't it? It's something that we should share together. Thank you.